to the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. The Louie Bellina Show, Wednesday edition. Here is how we do between now and 1 o'clock. Coming up, 11:20, joining me inside the Charles Schwab studio. Did I say Charles Schwab studio? Because the way that came out, I sounded like I was swimming underwater. We are going to visit with Chip Howard of Chip Howard Sports Talk. It's an every Wednesday thing. We catch up, we hang out, and call me crazy, but we're probably going to talk about Outlaw Country and hockey. I know, what a combo, but it's true. Oh, yes, it's true. At 11:35, a couple of listen-ins, actually. Rashaun Agee met with the media. A&M, Arkansas, 6 o'clock tonight. Let's get it on. Where's Mills Lane? Let's go. Let's get ready to rumble. All those other kind of type things. So we're going to have a listen in, Rashaun Agee, Aggie Hoops, but also a listen in, Michael Earley, A&M baseball head coach. Aggies played home run derby again last night in a 25-5 rout of Lamar, and we'll hear what Coach had to say after the game. Today, Wednesday on the Louie Bellina Show, I'm inside the Charles Schwab studio. Noon hour, our final and second hour. Tony Catalina of the Austin American Statesman. That's noon to noon 30-ish. Sometimes we talk longer, 12:35, I think, question mark. We'll head out on the D4 Land Services hotline. We hang out and catch up with Bubba Bush of BV MMA and Fitness. Bubba Bush, fighting Texas Aggie. Bubba Bush. He runs the gym, BV MMA and Fitness. He serves our community, Bryan College Station, the Brazos Valley, in many different ways. And Bubba, back in the day, was a fighter. He fought and was a champion in the Legacy Fight promotion, which at the time was right behind the UFC. Bubba himself went on to fight in the UFC. Bubba's one of those cool, kind of awesome type of people, and I check in with him a couple of times a month. That'll be 12:35. He'll join us on the D4 Land Services hotline. I got more for you. I got a lot more. You can text me anytime. Questions, comments, opinions. What's on your mind? 979-693-1150. Questions, comments, opinions. What's up? 979-693-1150. I'll see what you have to say inside the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. Today, this is where I have to apologize. I always say I'm a horrible sports talk show host. I've never tried to hide it. See, yesterday, I did not register someone for the Creed tickets at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, thanks to Grohalski Sausage Company. And I'm supposed to do that every single day this week. I am, but guess what? I'm an idiot. Not really a secret being revealed. So here's how I'm going to do better. We're going to bonus register people today. It's supposed to be one person every day. I'm going to register 3 people today. So that's the first part of my apology to you. I screwed up yesterday. I did not register anyone. So we're going to register 3 people today. And I'm going to register a person every day next week too. Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's cool? Do you accept my apology? So listen in today at 11:50 and 12:50, right about. Maybe it's 11:50, maybe it's 11:55, but listen in today, the end of each hour, I will register people to win a pair of tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo, thanks to Grohalski Sausage Company. Thank you, Grohalski. They have 2 locations if you want to check them out. They're doing artisan meat processing. They have their own recipes. They've been doing this since 1952. Every day, they kind of have like, okay, something popped into my mind. I'm going to make it. Stop by if you want to try it. Tomorrow, they got pork steak. Oh, one of Lou's favorites, by the way. But then again, They just got the everyday best sausage around kind of thing. Grocholski Sausage Company has 2 locations. Both are on South Main Street. One, Grocholski Sausage locations in Bremond, the others in Calvert. Listen in to register. End of each hour today. End of each hour. Let us begin. Maroon and White universe, and we're all just living in it. Aggie Baseball last night hosted Lamar. I mean, I expected a win. I was hoping to see the offense back in full force, and I said 2 things I wanted: home run derby and health. I wanted to see how healthy they were. Well, Caden Sorrell was back, and he hit the Aggies' first grand slam of the year, and he hit a solo shot that went 452 feet. He murdered that ball. The old saying back in the day was he pooped on it, but he murdered absolutely that ball, and he hit a granny. So Caden Sorrell goes 3 for 5, 2 homers, 6 ribeyes. But he wasn't the only one that went yard. Like I said, they played a little home run derby. Boston Kellner goes yard. Hit a second as an Aggie? It was fun. Binderup goes yard. Chestnut goes yard. You know, top of the order, Terrence Kill batting leadoff had 2 hits, 2 walks himself to get on base 4 times. When you score 25 runs on 18 hits, there's a lot of highlights. Sawyer Farr, the Penn hero of Saturday, batting at the bottom of the order, goes 2 for 4 with a walk himself, scores 3 times, 2 ribeyes, and that's in the 9 spot. A lot of heroes in a 25-run, 18-hit performance. The highlight inning, by the way, it's a 7-inning game. 7 innings, 18 hits, 25 runs, because the run rule was, enacted in a 25-5 dub. 12-run fourth for Aggie Baseball. It was a pretty spectacular night. Now, if you're looking to complain, and we live in a world where, the most critical of eyes, 3 things in the could have been better. Gavin Lyons only went 4, and yes, when you're sitting on a 19-3 lead, and Lyons had given up a 3 spot in the 4th, there was no need to push it. But still, okay, I'm trying to get nitpicky. They won 25-5, okay? You would have wanted 5. If Gavin Lyons can lock down the 5 and 3 or less on Tuesdays, you're golden for Tuesdays. Talked about it yesterday. So, would have loved 5 from Lyons. Gave up 3 runs. Only 1 was earned, because that leads into number 2. Committing 2 errors. Come on, people. Let's cut down on the errors. And in 7 innings, they walked 4. That's all I got for you in the unnecessarily critical department, because they won 25-5. That's as feel good as it gets. If they shot fireworks at the game, they would have ran out of them. I want to know if anybody had bubbles left. Anybody, did you have bubbles left at the end of that one? 25-5. Pretty insane score. That was real. Chestnut 2 for 3. 2 for 3. RBI, 2 walks. Nico Partita, 2 for 2, 4 runs, 2 doubles, 2 walks. Jake Dewar, 2 for 4, 3 RBI, scored twice, had a double himself. You kind of get the memo with this one. But back to Caden Sorrell. Had the hand issue. Comes back. Goes yard. First granny of the year. Murders a ball 452 feet. It goes back to his opening weekend after, he was injured twice last year. He came back like a man released from prison. He missed a couple of games over the weekend. Comes back in the Tuesday game like a man who missed time. If Caden Sorrell can stay healthy, which is a legitimate question, he might be the player of the year in college baseball. There's no doubt he's the key to the whole season. And he's hitting balls 452 feet. It's actually rather spectacular. It's actually kind of fun. Anyway, the midweek, the dub, and just a very basic, and I don't know if it has a whole lot of value, but just very basic. At this point last year, A&M was 6-2. They're 8-0. And with the quality of opponents, you're really looking, for any kind of sign. I would say it's a sign of improvement. Dealing with injuries, at one point in the starting lineup, you were without Herkopian and Sorrell for a couple of games, right? They're 8-0 this year. They were 6-2 last year. And you've seen Home Run Derby, and you've seen one of the greatest pitching weekends you'd ever seen ever for Aggie Baseball. And they faced this level of opponent before to start a year. So you can go apples to apples. Does this mean they're going to Omaha and they're going to win it all? No. Does it mean they're not going to make the NCAA tournament? No. But they're 8-0 this year. They were 6-2 to start last year. So as they're figuring it out, dealing with some injuries, they're going undefeated and they're killing people 25-5. So I give it 2 thumbs up. Anyway, great game, great dub. And coming up about 11:35-ish, we'll have a listen in. Michael Earley, I'll let you hear what he had to say. Moving forward in the Maroon and White notebook, Combine. Texags Live is there. Combine is very fascinating. I'm not sure if you understand how the Combine works. They do on-field, and that's the glorious, sexy stuff that, I say if you're an NFL draft junkie kind of thing, that's what you want to see. That's the results. That's what you're kind of looking for, right? That's the good stuff. Well, none of the on-field stuff actually starts until I believe it is tomorrow, and it ends. The O-line does on-field, and that on Monday is when it wraps up. But the actual combine stuff started on Sunday. Early players showed up for the first positional group. So combine behind the scenes started Sunday, ongoing. Tomorrow, Thursday, D-line linebackers work out on the field. Friday's DBs, tight end. Saturday, quarterback, wide receiver, running back. And Sunday's O-line. That's the on-field. That's what'll be on the NFL Network. But there's interviews and media stuff. And Torian York this morning said something I think pretty epic. He was asked what team he would love to play for. Quote from Torian York, Detroit, for sure. Dan Campbell is a Texas A&M guy. Grit is their identity. That's what the G stands for at A&M in grind. A lot of similarities in how the programs are run. I like the Lions a lot. So in the Maroon and White notebook, I got Torian York, hell of a quote there. I want to play for Dan Campbell, grit. It's what the G and grind stands for at Texas A&M, so he can relate to Dan Campbell and all of it. I saw CBS Sports Brad Crawford, matter of fact, and it was 10 prospects with something to prove in Indianapolis. There's an Aggie on it. I'll give you 10 seconds to think which of the A&M guys at the Combine made the 10 prospects with something to prove. What's fascinating, and I'll give you a hint, they really don't have something to prove. I think it's something to lock in when I look at the name, because it's KC Concepcion, A&M. And when I was talking with Olin yesterday, who was on the way to Indy, I don't think it's proof. I think it's lock in with KC Concepcion. He's on the back end of a projected 6 to 7 first-round wide receivers. His versatility will make some team in the 20s, i.e. Super Bowl hopefuls, kill to have as versatile, that word again, versatile playmaker on their offense. But he's on the back end of a 6-7 projection. And prove, he just needs to do the testing that he should do. He doesn't need to disappoint, have a bad 40 or his cone shuttle or vertical leap or whichever one of the categories are wide receiver markers. It's weird with him. I don't think he has to prove. He just doesn't have to disappoint in any category. He has to just meet what they believe. Prove is, okay, we think he's slow. So you have to do he just has to meet. I think, I know I'm splitting hairs on this, but that's how I view it with Casey Concepcion. But he made the CBS Sports 10 players with something to prove. And Concepcion was one of them. Maroon and White Notebook, and we'll talk more about this, a lot more about this at Tony Catalina, noon to noon 30 today inside the Charles Schwab studio with me. Aggie Hoops tonight, 6, Arkansas. But I caught this because night before, you get the injury list that they put out every SEC game. Jamie Vincent is listed as questionable. That means 50-50. He's on the initial injury report. Jamie Vincent is listed as questionable. I'm going to share with you, and Luke Evangelos, who again does God's work, amazing. I think he's a must part of any Aggie basketball season, with the key stat of the game. Turnovers. Arkansas, lowest turnover percent in D1 at just 12.3. They turn the ball over 8.9 times per game. 5th best in D1. Now, when Arkansas turns the ball over 11 plus, which 11 doesn't strike me as bad. 11, there's teams that would kill to average 11 turnovers a game. But for Arkansas, when they turn the ball over 11 plus against other P5 teams, guess what? They're 2-5. And it's not about your turnovers. It's about forcing Arkansas to turn. And it's only 11. That's not a high rate. But when Arkansas does, they're 2-5. So it's kind of the stat of the game. And the key to buckyball is forcing turnovers with the D. And in every key or big win A&M's had this year, the defense has been the key. It's been forcing those turnovers. So if buckyball do the secret to what buckyball success is, which is turnovers, and forcing Arkansas into doing what they can't do or they lose, the key to success, turnovers versus Arkansas. Good stuff, as always, from Luke. When we return, joining me, Chip Howard, inside the Charles Schwab studio. This is the Louie Bellina Show on a Wednesday, just getting started here on The Zone.
Your home for the Houston Astros is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
It is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, Wednesday edition. Joined now here, Wednesday, here inside the Charles Schwab studio. Chip Howard Sports Talk. How you doing, Chip?
Good.
You still riding that hockey high?
I am, and I'm watching McAfee, and they're still talking hockey. And I just saw a stat, and I think this is right, that 26 million people watched that game.
That is at 7 a.m. Texas Central God's time.
That is just over the top. That is a lot of people. A, what you mentioned for the time, but B, hockey. I mean, that is incredible when you think about it.
It's incredible sometimes when people can put politics aside and just rally behind our country, because that was USA versus Canada. It was like old school Olympics.
No doubt.
It used to be USA versus, it didn't matter.
Russia.
Versus, because bless you, Stan. It didn't matter. Because that's what the Olympics used to be.
Yeah, I know.
The Olympics were just USA versus everyone.
Right.
And that's why everyone tuned in. You saw a man with sticks on his feet shooting a gun at a squirrel. You were rooting for the squirrel to die because it was USA versus the squirrel. That's all the Olympics used to be.
Yeah.
So that was a day gone by.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what USA versus Canada was.
It was fun.
People that didn't even know how to spell hockey tuned in because we got to beat those dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was a glorious game.
It was amazing.
A dude with no tooth wins.
It was amazing.
It was awesome. Now, this post-celebration, you say Pat McAfee, he picked up their tab. You know that, right?
Oh, no, I
That's
did not
part two
know
of the
that.
story. He is, look at what it says on your TV screen.
When you say picked up their tab in Miami when they were partying?
The Miami club that was 150K
with all the
tab.
champagne? He can afford it.
Oh, look at the money he's giving away on the kicks.
Yeah, he can afford it.
ESPN College, get it. Pat McAfee.
I'm not sure that's his money.
Oh, hey, he still arranges for it. Well, he's got sponsors. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But he picked up the Team USA hockey tab of 150K.
That's pretty cool.
He's the one that said, you guys don't worry about it. Thank you.
Well, most of those guys will never buy a drink again in their lives. So, that's fine.
If you win hockey gold, you shouldn't have to.
Exactly. If you beat Canada, you shouldn't have to.
if you can get strippers to sing the national anthem as opposed to just earning money, you should not have to
That's
buy
the
a
best
drink
deal that
again.
ever happened to them, getting snowed out and flying back into New Jersey, right? They got to go to Miami.
Okay.
I mean, what a deal that was. That was an incredible deal.
That's kind of
How
my
can
thought
you
process.
lose? I mean, how can you lose? That's
Do you want to
awesome.
have your party in New Jersey or do
Yeah.
you want to have your
Oh,
party
no.
in Miami?
In a blizzard or on the beach. So, yeah, they did well.
They won. They won twice.
They earned it. You know what? They earned it.
God bless hockey. God bless hockey. That's all I'm going to say. It was pretty awesome. So anyway, I am chuckling, and Pat McAfee's on right now, and he's reliving some of the stories of
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
it's pretty awesome. Where are you at Buzzball? Where are you? The NCAA tournament? Yes, they're in. Do you think they're in trouble? Bubble? Where do you have them?
Well, here's the problem. A&M has a history, and it's not a good history, right, getting into the tournament. I just don't want to leave any doubt. I think they're in. They should be in. But, you know, they've got every game, and Bucky's right, every game this time of year is like a playoff game, you know. I think they'll beat Texas, you know, at home Saturday. I don't think tonight is one of those must-win games because Arkansas is going to be a high seed. They're really, really good. A&M's history there is really, really bad. And this isn't a game they have to win by any stretch of the imagination. The Texas game becomes a little bit more important. And I think, you know, they're better. They should win Saturday at home. So, yeah, I think they're in. But again, there's a history here, and it's not a great history.
I can't talk to one person because there's boss, but this isn't boss. This is like COS, committee battered Sabas.
Yeah. I mean, it's all about history, and you honestly, Lou, that Texas game is important. I think Texas they're hosting Florida tonight. They should get drilled, but they're on the bubble, right? And that loss to
They're
Georgia,
not, but they're about to be because they're coming.
Well,
in
the
on
loss to
losing streak.
Georgia
Yeah.
put them on the bubble. They'll lose tonight. And so they come in here on Saturday, and that is a huge game. And I think it's a big game for both. Oh, it's always a big game. I'm not saying that, but I'm just I'm talking in terms of tournament. So, that's going to be a big game on Saturday.
Did you see last night's results in the SEC? Yeah, where OU
They beat Auburn.
destroys Auburn.
Yeah.
Missouri beats Tennessee.
I watched the Missouri-Tennessee game.
Yeah, and Missouri's no longer bubbly. They
Look,
keep dancing in out. They're off the bubble now.
I don't know any team that would want to play Missouri in the tournament unless it's bad. You got good Missouri, you got bad Missouri. You don't know which team's showing up. But that team has talent, Lou. And Tennessee, they've been playing great, right?
Yes.
And they're good. Missouri has everything. They can run. They're huge underneath, as we saw here. I mean, they've got talent, okay? It's just you don't know which team's showing up from game to game. But that is a team.
Is that coaching? When a team with that much talent is inconsistent?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I would not want to play that team in the NCAA tournament.
I still marvel.
And I don't care. They'll probably be a 9-10 seed, you know, one of those.
No one wants to play.
No, you do not want to play them.
I still marvel at the A&M Missouri game because Missouri was so much better than I gave them credit for. I so misunderstood them.
But Lou,
and all A&M had to do was make layups. All A&M had to do
4
was make
days
layups.
later, they host Texas, their first sellout of the year in Columbia, Missouri. They have to delay the game because the officials can't get through traffic to get to the game. And they are horrible. They're horrible. So you don't know what you're getting.
They have too much talent for that. And again, all A&M had to do is hit layups. They lost the game because they could not make layups.
A&M has not been good at the rim all year. You know, they just have not. And we've been
it's
saying
one of their
that.
core platforms.
You know what? We've been saying that for a while about
it's one
A&M
of their core
basketball
platforms.
not
Shoot the
being
three,
able to
go to the
finish.
rim.
You know, and they haven't finished at the rim. And my biggest concern right now is they're in a free throw shooting slump. And in all these league games that are so close, and I watched this last night, Baylor and Arizona. I mean, Baylor led Arizona most of the game. down the stretch, they can't hit free throws. They missed like 4 in a row in a 3-point game at home, right? You have to make free throws. And A&M's had stretches. They've been unbelievable. So you know they can.
Three
right?
straight games where they missed 1 free throw per game, right?
Right. But these last games, even they won here, one at Oklahoma. You know, they finally hit a couple. But, man, you've got to make free throws. You know, I suspect tonight and Saturday night, you bet. And on the road, that just doubles. I mean, those are you have got to make free throws on the road. So we'll see.
And when you're missing free throws, front ends of one-on-ones, cost you the second
Still
shot.
Still fun team to watch. You know, just they're fun to watch. You know, they hit that stretch, and everybody does in February. It's not just A&M. The legs go dead. They could not do anything at Vanderbilt. Bucky, gave them some time off. I think that helped a little bit, and he's redone the practices because they go hard, right, Lou? I mean, they go hard, but you have got to, and he knows this, right? He's smart, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. I just something weird would have to happen for them to win that game tonight in Fayette. That's just something weird will have to happen.
Before I let you go, I showed you this earlier today. But a new documentary.
Yeah,
called,
I am pumped. In fact, I'm going to call the South by Southwest people and see if I get a pass.
Oh, really?
No, get a pass. I doubt if I can. But
you'd be surprised.
But I would go.
Okay. On March 15th.
That's a Sunday.
This month.
Yeah.
At South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, a new documentary is going to premiere called They Called Us Outlaws. The series is going to dive into the outlaw country movement led by Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson.
10-part series. And I don't know where it doesn't say where it's showing. It's just debuting at South by Southwest.
The 10-part series will explore how a small group of rebellious songwriters in Nashville and Austin flipped the script on country music. This is the late 60s and 70s. The project features never-before-seen footage, and it's narrated by Jack Ingram.
That's pretty cool.
It includes appearances by Jesse Coulter, Chris Christopherson, Miranda Lambert, and Eric Church. The 90-minute pilot episode is what they're going to premiere.
Okay. And it says they talk about the Armadillo World Headquarters in there as well, which you have to. I was in the middle of all that. It was.
I know this is your world. That's why I get
That's my world. I'm going to try to go see that thing. That would be awesome.
You need to get the guy on your show.
Well, yeah, I got it. Yeah.
Get the dude on, Chip.
I need to get him on, too.
This is just so cool.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
I didn't live the outlaw country.
Right,
I'm familiar. Love the guys. Not going to sit there and tell you I'm Mr. Outlaw Country. I will watch this. Whenever it gets released, wherever they're going to do it,
I hope it's
watching this.
I hope it's well done,
Well, you do something like this, you can't screw it up.
I hope not.
So, March 15th, it'll premiere at South by Southwest.
Yeah.
Back in my early days in radio, I went and covered South by Southwest. I got press credentialed for about 4 straight years.
Right.
Some of the funnest things I've ever did.
Interesting.
That's back before it exploded.
Right.
And I would go cover the music part.
Yeah.
And you'd go cover a band, and you'd be one of like 4, and the band would see your press credentials. So afterwards, they'd invite you back, and you'd talk.
Yeah.
And they'd be done, and they would go out to see other bands.
Yeah.
And they'd tell you who the good ones were.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And you would walk down 6th Street with that band, though.
Yeah.
And they would cake you, and you'd go watch the next band with the band you just covered.
Yeah, you can't do that
anymore. It was a
anymore.
different world.
Yeah.
Okay?
Can't do that anymore.
No. Well, now they're debuting
Of course,
big acts.
Paul McCartney wasn't playing at South by
That's
Southwest
what I'm saying.
either.
See,
right?
It was a different scene. Now
it's different.
Now record labels run South by Southwest.
That's correct.
And they have Paul McCartney.
It's different.
That wasn't the South by Southwest.
That's
I covered,
correct.
So
it's a little different.
Good time. Chip, what do you got today?
Steve Denton, tennis coach, Scott Clendenin, and Mallory today.
That's the entertainment report.
Yeah, it is.
You gonna have Outlaw Country in your entertainment report?
We got to talk about that.
Be awesome, Chip.
Thanks.
Chip Howard Sports Talk inside the Charles Schwab studio. It's an every Wednesday thing here on the Louie Bellina Show. Presented by CC Electric on the Zone.
Visit the Pod Center at zone1150.com and find every hour of every day of your favorite shows. Download or subscribe.
The Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. That is CC Electric. I got a glorious text message here. It's from the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox, and it says, Lou, do you remember when Push Monkey was headlining North by Northgate? 2-part answer. No. Yes. I remember North by Northgate, and I remember Push Monkey. I did not remember that they headlined in North by Northgate. I have seen Push Monkey so many times. They played Bryan College Station all the time. They played Ozfest. I was a huge Push Monkey fan. Like, when they were coming to town, it was an event for me and my friends. Push Monkey was one of those. Seeing them live was a must if you were a music fan. Dude, they were absolutely just phenomenal. I mean, Push Monkey was, there's a reason why they played Ozfest. I mean, they were incredible. Push Monkey. I got stories. They were phenomenal. Push Monkey was. Never missed them, ever. And North by Northgate, I had prayed would catch on. North by Northgate was a bit of a disaster in between the bad scheduling, shows that didn't happen and things, and never took off. So, great idea. Just wasn't run well. That's if my memory serves all correctly. And I've got many years and beers under me, so sometimes my memory maybe isn't necessarily the best. But, I didn't know they headlined North by Northgate. Love Push Monkey, though. That was Push Monkey there when we were kind of coming back. And live, I'm just telling you, they were hard to be. You can compare them to the big boys if you want. They just live were incredible. Time now, a listen in. Last night, Aggie Baseball went medieval. 25-5 on Lamar, little home run derby. Here's Coach Earley after the dub.
Coach, I don't want to keep going back to the weekend, but after what was said on Saturday, what has it been like to see your offense respond over multiple games now?
Yeah, I mean they're a good team. And going back to Saturday, they just had a bad game, a really bad game, and they've been great since. They've been great all year. So it was, tonight's one of those nights where baseball can happen to anyone. And the hits kind of just fell, but I thought the biggest thing besides the hits was just the plate discipline was elite, like elite plate discipline. I'm not sure how many runs we had with just like a few hits, and when they swung the bats, they did damage and just did a really good job controlling the strike zone. So that was really, really good to see. And I thought they did it throughout. Like, you got to stay focused in games like that, and all the at bats count, all that mattered. They all matter. So I was just really proud of their effort tonight. It was great.
Speaking of doing damage, getting Caden Sorrell back, how important was it to get him some at-bats before you go up to Arlington?
Yeah, he still has stitches in his hand, so no, that he's a tough dude, but he was feeling fine, doesn't feel him. But, it's funny, like if you're in, he had a couple games where he just seemed a little off, right? And if you're in professional baseball, they'll give you a couple days off. And, we would never do that. We had to, right? And sometimes from a Tuesday to a Friday, like that's not a couple days off because you're not playing. Like real reset is when you can sit there and just watch a couple games. And I think the injury was, a byproduct of that was he got that little bit of reset by still being engaged in a game. And I'm never going to give him a reset, you know what I mean, that I don't have to. But, yeah, impressive swings. Like, he's an impressive player, and he did a better job today of controlling the strike zone.
At what point did you know he was ready, or was there any question that he was ready to come back today?
He swung in the cage yesterday and said he was good. That's all I need to hear.
How pleased were you about the fourth when they had scored 3 in the top of that half of that inning, and then you guys put up the 12th spot?
Yeah, in any game you always want to – it's always great to respond to runs, whether, they get 3 and you get 1. You just want to – kind of kills the momentum a little bit, but that was – I like those 12 spots. They're good. But, yeah, I just like the overall just concentration, controlling the strike zone, and when it's in the zone, we swung at the strikes, took the balls, and they did it at a really high level tonight.
You talked about how, sticking to their approach, you like the way they batted tonight. How much of tonight is a learning lesson to go back to them and be like, listen, if you follow the script, you've listened to us, we can have outbursts like this?
Yeah, anytime they make mistakes, it's never due to not listening or not trying. It's just that can get really hard up there, right? You can get really sped up. Guys have different pitches. They take you out of your timing, but it's just about controlling your heart rate. And that's why, before we even take flips, like guys do their routine, they get under control. So just taking that step by step, hitting's a progression, doing the same thing you do in a front toss that you would when a guy's throwing 95 and just controlling that heart rate. And they just, when you do it 1 through 9 that consistently, a little luck on your side, control the zone, stuff like that can happen.
Coach, even after you started pulling your starters, some of the bench guys started producing runs, like Bender up, like Buda. Just what does it mean to have that kind of depth that can still carry your team?
Yeah, it's always good to have guys, and you always want to play guys. And they came in and they were ready to go, and we expect them to be. And they're always moving around the dugout, and you just never know when your number's going to get called. And when you get your opportunity, and both those guys did a really nice job.
Nice to get Sorrell back, but what kept Hakopian and Jordan out today, and how close were they to returning to action?
Chris had a really good day, like lifting, running, swinging. He made the comment to me he felt like he could play today. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that, but it was just great. Have a great day. Let's have another great day tomorrow. Wes moved around. He's feeling a lot better than he expected. He wanted to hit batting practice on the field. I decided, okay, if you want to, let's go ahead and do it tomorrow. So they seem to be progressing great, and we are hopeful to have them both back for the weekend.
Same's last test before you have a really big check mark or a mild marker this weekend with the teams you're going to play. Where do you feel like the team is now heading into that test?
I mean, I think with how we pitch it this weekend and how we our bats on Sunday and our bats today, I mean, feeling about as good as you can. We just got to have a good practice tomorrow and prepare. And we're going to get tested up there a lot. You get 3 different looks. It's those tournaments are different than a weekend, right? Because you don't really get a feel of a team. But it's a real tournament feel and something you got to get used to. So all 3 clubs are playing are really, really strong. So yeah, it's going to be a challenge. First road trip, hotel, getting on a bus, practicing, no infield, outfield before the game, no hitting on the field. I kind of like it like that. You practice on Thursday, go hit in the cage, get loose, play catch, run, and just play baseball. So it's going to be a good test, a good experience, and I think we're ready to go.
I think it was 47 1/3 innings without a walk. Have you seen a streak like that before? Your pitching staff?
I have not. No, I've not seen it any years I've been coaching at all. Pretty impressive. I mean, that's those guys work. Those guys are good, man. They're good. They throw strikes. They can walk the field tonight. It's going to happen. But I mean, you throw strikes, you have a chance to be a really, really good pitcher. You make stuff with it. Makes you even better. So they've done that obviously at a high level. We just want to continue on that track.
Anything else?
That was Michael Earley, part 1 of our Cultist, our Aggie Listen. And here's part 2. Aggie Hoops tonight, 6 o'clock, Fayetteville. And man, I ran into some statistics on that and kind of make me wonder if this is real, but oh man. I'd have to look them up. I'll share them with you when we go to Tony Catalina of the Austin American Statesman. But the Aggies haven't won in Fayetteville since like 1987, and they're like 1-14 or something during that time. I mean, it's a house of horrors. Fair enough. But here's Rashaun Agee from their media day, from their Arkansas media day.
Where y'all playing at the level that y'all expect to be playing at?
I mean, yeah, we're playing good. I feel like we could play better. I feel like we've been doing some things great, but of course there's always things to fix. Rebounding right now is something we got to harp on and something we got to fix right now.
That was probably one of y'all's better defensive games of the season, especially in that second half. Just what were maybe some of the little things you felt like y'all did really well that you can try and carry over going forward?
I would say just emphasizing guard your man, guard your yard, and understand that you have help, but the help is there to help you, not for you to just give up, certain angles and allow things to happen. But, defend your man. Beat your matchup. Don't allow somebody to just score on you.
Getting a gritty win on the road like this, how's that help y'all's momentum going into a place like Arkansas?
I feel like it's great. I feel like these past 2 wins has helped us get into a good position in order to go into Arkansas confidently. And, ready to battle and ready to try to get a win there.
I think it was after the game on Saturday, Bucky said something to the effect of before the Ole Miss game, he told y'all that the NCAA tournament kind of started now for you guys. Just what maybe kind of sense of urgency have you seen from your teammates in the last couple of games?
I would say it's understanding what we have coming up and what we need to be focused on coming up because, every game, these next couple of games matters, because when it comes down to it, each one of my teammates want to be playing in March, and I understand that it's important to them, but it's also important to me, and it's also important to this fan base to get into March and get things rolling and try to make a run in the tournament.
Arlen talked about how everyone at this point of the year has bumps and bruises. How do you feel like the defensive presence has evolved along with the natural Knicks of the season? It's been excellent. I mean, I felt like early on in the season we were, tightening things up. We're learning each other. We're figuring out our, defensive keys. But now we know who we are. We know what we need to do. And defensively, with Knicks and bruises, I mean, like at the end of the day, you got to do what you got to do to get to win. I know he's a guard, but Acuff's leading the SEC in points per game. Just defensively, how do you guys as a group try and slow him down? I mean, we're going to talk about it. We haven't harped on it much yet, but that's something we're going to focus on. But also, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like, they're a team, but, he's a great player. But the object is always to win the game and focus on us. Arkansas is a pretty tough place to play traditionally, but you guys have had quite a bit of success on the road, even in the losses. Y'all been pretty competitive. So what have you seen continued from your guys that you guys are able to carry that into road games? Exactly what you said, being competitive, being ready, having that ready-to-go mindset, having that dog mindset, and understanding that in a hostile environment, we got to come ready to play.
Have you watched any of their game against Alabama, that 2 overtime game?
I watched a little bit of it. It was a great game. I've also watched their Mizzou game, but I mean, I watch a lot of SEC basketball. So
this is about the same time last year when you started to emerge as a really efficient three-point shooter, and you made 2 early against Oklahoma. What do you feel like making those threes does for this offense when you're able to stretch the floor? And do you feel like you are kind of on track and seeing your progress in practice to where you're starting to get your three-point shot back?
Absolutely. I mean, I've always felt like I was a great three-point shooter. I just got to roll it over into games. But I would say for us as a team, I feel like it just spaced the floor out more. It becomes easier drives for everybody, even our guards. With me being able to post up, I know on my end, I know it's easier when you have people who shoot a high percentage and a high volume because they can't W, easier kickouts. So with me being able to shoot the ball, it would be easier lanes to drive and easier kickouts.
To that point, was just some of the struggles you had earlier this season shooting the three. Was there a point where you maybe were a little hesitant to shoot threes in games at all?
Absolutely not. I mean, I know I can shoot the ball. Once I started shooting the ball early on at SC, I mean, I just continue to just do what I do, but shooting is kind of something that I'm kind of getting used to. But, I mean, I've always been able to shoot the ball growing up.
Do you feel like there was a collective deep breath taken now that, a couple wins in a row have come along?
Absolutely not. I feel like what we got to do is meaningful to us, and we understand that every win matters, and we're not going to rest or come in and think that just because we won a game that it's okay to go in and play lackadaisical the next game.
Late in that game, what was the discussion for when I think y'all were up 1 and they were going to intentionally foul? And did you tell everyone okay, I want the ball, I'm going to knock down 2 free throws? Did Bucky say get it into Rashaun to make free throws? What was that discussion, and ultimately what did it feel like to knock down those 2 free throws to kind of seal the game?
No, we didn't really have any discussion on it. I mean, it was a little couple trash talk, but he told me he was going to foul me. I told him I didn't really care. Foul me, I'm going to make the free throws. And then after that, it is what it is.
That's Rashaun Agee. Our listen-in before that, Michael Earley. I need a correction. I know I said pretty sure 6:30 pregame, 6 o'clock. No. A&M Arkansas is 8 o'clock tonight. A&M Arkansas is 8 o'clock tonight. Repeat after me. A&M Arkansas is 8 o'clock tonight. 7:30 pregame over on News Talk 1620, 94.5 WTAW. You can also listen at radioaggieland.com. Again, A&M Arkansas, 8 o'clock tonight on News Talk 1620, 94.5 WTAW. The pregame is 7:30. And I know I said it wrong. Someone texted, and as soon as I saw that text, I went, oh, even without remembering, that echo in my head said, you idiot. I know I did it wrong.